Good evening, and welcome to day 19 of 40 Days of Bible Study and Prayer. We have been going over the lies that the devil tells us, that we tell ourselves, or that society tells us, and we've been looking for the truth in the Bible. I want to apologize for my tardiness tonight. I had something at work that I had to finish up, but I am now on my lunch break, so I'm able to start the prayer. Tonight's prayer, tonight's lie, I should say, is something that's very near and dear to my heart. Um, and it's something that challenges a lot of people, not just Christians, but a lot of people. Um, it's a it's an epidemic, I would actually say. That's really hurting our world. It's hurting our walk with Christ. It's hurting a lot of things. Um, I was going to go into this later, another day, but again, today just feels pretty appropriate for this. So the lie that we're going over tonight is that what we eat has nothing to do with our walk with God. And the truth is, what we eat has everything to do with our walk with God. And it may not seem at the onset like that's the truth, because you would think that, okay, what you eat it's got nothing to do with anything. And I wasn't able to type this verse out because I was rushing because of work and everything. But in Mark 7, verses 14 through 19. It says, Again, Jesus called the crowd to him and said, Listen to me, everyone, and understand this. Nothing outside a person can defile them by going into them. Rather, it is what comes out of a person that defiles them. After he left the crowd and entered the house, his disciples asked him about this parable. Are you so dull? He said, or he asked. Don't you see that nothing that enters a person from the outside can defile them? But it doesn't go into their heart, but into their stomach, and then out of their body. And in parentheses, this version I'm looking at, the NIV version, it says, in saying this, Jesus declared all foods clean. He went on, what comes out of the person is what defiles him, for it is from within, out of a person's heart, that evil thoughts come. Sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, lewdness, envy, slander, arrogance, and folly. All these evils come from the inside and defile a person. So, whenever I talk about food, whenever I talk about health as it relates to our walk with Christ, a lot of people have brought that verse up to me. And they basically said that it doesn't matter what I eat because, you know, Jesus declared all foods clean. Everything was good. What goes in your mouth is not what defiles, it's what comes out. And my my I don't want to call it an issue, but the thing about that is that back then, a lot of the foods that we consume today didn't even exist. The foods we eat today are really not even food. They contain chemicals and things, unnatural things that we don't even know the meanings of them. We read them on the ingredients list and they don't even make sense. We don't even can't even pronounce them. So a lot of these things that are in existence today weren't in existence back when the Bible was written. At that time they ate fish, they ate bread, they ate vegetables, they ate fruits, they ate whatever was readily available for them. They ate meat, of course, and they did have sweets, of course. I'm sure they did have sweets and all that, but they weren't as highly processed as they are today, and they also weren't with a lot of fake chemicals that we have today. There's what we call food wouldn't even be considered food back then. So, granted that a food may not defile you in the sense of making you unholy or unclean, but it will have an effect, a lasting effect on your body, so much to the sense that you won't even be able to walk with God. So everything we eat has everything to do with our walk with God. And so I'm going to go over a few verses, of course, tonight that support this, because again, like I said, it's very passionate to me. We'll start at the beginning. Genesis 1, verse 29. Then God said, I give you every seed bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. That's what he gave us to eat. The Garden of Eden, which is a whole bunch of trees with fruit. And that was our food. That's it. Didn't mention water. He didn't mention anything but fruit. Because fruit, in and of itself, has everything that we need. All of the nutrition that we need. It's got water in it to keep us hydrated. It's called structured water, H320. And it's got all the calories that we need. It's got protein. Um, it's a huge myth, and I'll just have to like do a whole class on this, but it's a huge myth that we need tons of protein, like from animal foods and, animal meats. That's actually not even correct because the fruit that we have has enough protein in it to where you'll never be protein deficient. So, starting off at the very beginning, he gave us fruit to eat and nothing else. So that's usually what I start off with whenever I talk to anybody about eating properly and eating correctly and eating for the glory of God. You eat what He gave us to begin with. Now I understand, of course, after the fall of man, after Eve ate from the tree of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. At that point, they were banished from the Garden of Eden, and Adam had to toil for the food. Excuse me. And the fruit was not easily accessible anymore. He had to work for it. They had to start eating meat. They had to start eating things from the ground, not necessarily from trees. So they began living in a completely different world after that. They didn't have access to it. But nowadays we have access to fruit. We have absolute 100% access to fruit. It's in every grocery store. There's fruit sometimes growing on the side of the street, side of the roads. Down my road, my apartment complex, there's blackberries growing on the side. So we're not without lack of being able to eat fruit. It's got everything that we need in it. Everything else that we put in our bodies, like Cheetos, like any kind of chips, like pastries and everything with all these extra added chemicals and processing, constant processing, it really, really, really clogs up our bodies. And so I would beg to differ now, and I would say that what we eat can and will defile us because maybe not defile in the sense of making us have an unclean heart, but it'll make us have an unclean body. What we put into our bodies determines how we live, how we act, how we think, because chemicals in the food literally they get processed through the digestive system, and anything that's foreign to our bodies that really wasn't meant to be in there, it starts leaking everywhere. You get things like leaky gut syndrome. These things go to our brain and chemicals. The flora in our gut, it starts to like crave these horrible, horrible things. And then we gain weight because our bodies can't process the sugar or the refined sugar. It can't process a lot of the meat that we eat. And we begin gaining fat, fat deposits. And then it just spreads through our system. We pack on pounds and pounds and pounds to the point that we can't even walk. We're sick. We're constantly sick. Can't deny that it's an absolute epidemic going on where people are just eating incorrectly and becoming so, so sick that they can't even walk the line for Christ anymore. And I'm going to get really, really bold here, but there is a ton of Christians who are eating so incorrectly and so unhealthily that they cannot fulfill their purpose here for God. We have pastors and preachers who are hundreds of, 300 plus pounds trying to just huff and puff their way to the pulpit. And I promise I am so not trying to sound horrible here because I have an issue with food too. Food has been my nemesis for the longest time. It has been an addiction that I've struggled to get a hold of and I still struggle with it. So I'm not judging here because I'm talking to myself here. I'm talking to the choir. I am literally preaching to the choir here. I'm preaching to myself. I'm trying to teach everybody that what we eat has so much of an effect on how we can walk for Christ. Because literally, it is killing people. Food. What we call food, which isn't real food, it's killing people. It killed my mother. It killed my father. It killed my son's father. It killed my grandmother. It's killed people. It kills people. It makes it impossible for us to do things for God. because we're sick. And that's exactly the way the devil wants it. That's exactly how he wants it. He wants you to believe that you will not get defiled, but you will get sick. Okay, all right. So, next one Proverbs 25, verse 16 says, if you find honey, eat just enough. Too much of it, and you will vomit. That, plain and simple. If we overeat anything, we're going to get sick. We're going to get sick. We're not meant to overeat constantly. We don't have to fill ourselves to the rim. We don't have to overflow. We don't have to get that, oh, I can't even move feeling. We're only supposed to eat just enough to survive, just enough to be okay, just enough to get through to the next meal. We're not supposed to be overeating and having plate upon plate upon plate, going to buffets and eating 6 or 7 plates. You know, I love my mom. I love her, and she's no longer with us. But when we would go to buffets, it would sometimes be tough because she would have like 6 or 7 plates, literally. And she would feel so sick afterwards, so sick. And she died from diabetes, of complications of diabetes. She had neuropathy of her bowels. She had her half of her leg cut off. Kidney problems. She had to be go on dialysis for a little while. Same thing with my grandmother. You know, and when you're not eating right, you're just putting poison into your body. Poison, literal poison, poison. And nobody speaks out about this. There's very few people that actually dare to tell a Christian that what they eat has an effect on how they can serve the Lord. And it has every bit to do with how well we can serve the Lord. Because what we put in our body determines whether or not we give our body fuel. Just think about this for a second, right? You own a car, right? So you go, and when the car runs out of gas, what do you fill it up with? More gas, because gas makes the body, or I'm sorry, not the body, gas makes the car run. You're not going to put milk in it. You're not going to put fruit punch in it. You're not going to put, sludge down it, because then your car's not going to work. It's the exact same thing with our bodies. Our bodies need fuel. Actual fuel, and majority of what we put in our bodies as a society today is not fuel at all. It's literally poison. What we're eating is killing us. It is killing us and killing us and it's killed our past families. It's killing our future families. It's killing our current families. It's killing us, absolutely killing us. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 31 says, so whatever you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. Really think about that. If you're sitting there, again, I'm not trying to be judgmental here. I'm not judging anybody. I'm not. I absolutely am not, because if I was, I'm judging myself too. I'm right there with y'all. I'm right there with you. I love food. I really, really do. I do. I love carne guisada tacos. I love Big Red. I love everything that's bad. But when we eat things like that, when we eat things that aren't giving us fuel, we're not doing it for the glory of God. We're doing it for self-fulfillment. Most of us, our idol is our stomach. Most of us, we are controlled by our stomachs. What are we going to eat? What are we going to eat? We use food for celebrations. We use food to mourn. We're constantly concerned with what we're going to eat, what we're going to eat, what we're going to cook, what we're going to do, what we're going to go grocery shopping for. It's an obsession. Food is an obsession that takes over and even surpasses God in our lives. Think about it. If you think about food more than you think about God, then food controls you. And many, 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 many Christians think more about food than they do about how they're walking for Christ. They do. They do. And it's scary. It's scary. There's so many more people that could be doing things for the glory of God. But because they're eating and drinking horribly, they can't glorify God. So, Daniel 1, verses 11 through 16. So, this is when it says, Daniel then said to the guard, whom the chief official had appointed over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, please test your servants for 10 days. Give us nothing but vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then compare our appearance with that of the young men who eat the royal food, and treat your servants in accordance with what you see. So he agreed to this and tested them for 10 days. At the end of the 10 days, they looked healthier and better nourished than any of the young men who ate the royal food. So the guard took away their choice food and the wine they were to drink and gave them vegetables instead. I love this passage right here. And if you're a Christian, if you're, it doesn't matter if you're, Catholic, Protestant, if you just believe in Christ, you've definitely heard of the story of Daniel and what people call the Daniel fast, right? Which is where you just eat fruits and vegetables, and that's it, and water. So I want to challenge people to do this. Try it out. Try just being a vegan for 10 days, 14 days, 30 days if you can. You will feel absolutely different. You will look different. And you'll be able to feel so good that you're going to want to serve God. 2 years ago, I finally said I was going to go ahead and do it. I was going to go ahead and become a vegan, but more specifically a raw vegan, which means you don't cook your food, right? You just eat it straight from the tree, straight from the ground. You don't modify it, because the thing about cooking food, and this is for another thing, I'm not going to go too far into this right now, but when you cook your food, you're basically killing it, and all the nutrients get leached out of it. So you're just kind of eating dead food when you cook it. But just try eating vegetables and fruit. Whether or not you cook it, I'm not going to be big on that or whatever. Anything's better than eating the junk food that we eat nowadays. So, anyway, 2 years ago, I decided to go ahead and do that. And I lost like 45 pounds in a matter of 5 months. I'd gotten down back to my college weight. But more important than that, I felt absolutely amazing. Amazing. Like I was able to start jogging. I hadn't been able to jog before in a long, long time. I was exercising. I was happy, because here's the thing about food is that food causes depression. That's a whole nother subject. And I'm going to have to get into that at some point. I really, really am. But food causes depression because of all the chemicals in it. It goes to your brain, makes you sad, makes you depressed. The thing about it is I couldn't even have a choice to be depressed if I wanted to, because I was eating so well. I was supplying my body with actual fuel that it was able to operate at its optimal point. And because of that, I couldn't even be sad. I couldn't, because there was nothing to be sad about. I really felt good. But you know what? The devil creeps in, right? I had a carne guisada taco for my birthday, and it all went downhill because food is addicting, especially salt. Salt is super, super addicting, and it'll make you lose yourself, literally. It's salt, salt. I mean, man, whew, salt is an addiction. It really, really is. So, yeah, I'm not going to go too much on, because you can tell this is probably the most passionate talk I've had all these 19 days, because it just really, really, really is it hurts. It hurts people. It really, really, I see so many Christians that are well-meaning Christians. They're really, really good. They have such strong faith, but because they eat improperly, they're always sick. They're always sick, and they can't do what it is God called them to do. And I want people to be able to do what God called them to do. And if it means having to give up food, give up the junk food that we eat, not eating pastries anymore, not eating cakes, not eating cookies, not eating ice cream, not eating bread, if it means you have to give up all of that so that you can serve God, I'm telling you, that price is a low price to pay to be able to serve God and fulfill your purpose. So, all right. So tonight, Father, first I want to always ask for forgiveness first. I want to ask for forgiveness for all the times that I ate horrible, horrible food, knowing that I wasn't going to be able to serve you properly because I was going to be sick. I was going to feel horrible. I'm sorry for knowing that the food that I was eating was hurting me, hurting my body, hurting this temple that you gave me, that my body that was paid for with a price that's not even mine. It's not even my own body, it's your body. You gave it to me. I'm just living in it. Jesus died for it. It's not my own. And yet I would feed it sludge all the time, constantly, just because it felt good, just because food was my idol, food was my ruler. I am so sorry that I put food above you all my life, all my life. But I thank you for finally waking me up. I thank you for finally giving me the eyes to see that what I was doing to my body was not good, that it was keeping me from my purpose, keeping me from being able to share the word, because I was just feeling awful, feeling depressed, feeling ugly, feeling just blah. So I thank you for the opportunity to turn my life around. Thank you for the opportunity to decide today, this is it. I'm not going to hurt my body anymore. Thank you for your forgiveness. Thank you for your covering. Thank you for everything. Thank you for allowing me to have food to eat. Thank you for providing fruit and vegetables, the food that you intended us to have. Thank you for making it so abundant. It's everywhere. It's abundant. We can choose to eat properly anytime we want to, and that is a luxury to be able to have that choice. And I thank you for that choice. I thank you for it. And Father, I pray for everybody in the world. I pray for Christians, especially people that follow you, that want to follow you. I pray that they see the truth. And the truth is that what they eat has everything to do with their ability to walk with you. Everything to do with how they walk with you. Because if they're not eating fuel, then they're not living at their optimal capacity. If they're just stuffing their mouths and their stomachs with food that can't even really be processed by our bodies properly, it keeps them from fulfilling your purpose, keeps them from doing things from you. So many people out there, Father, I pray for the ones that have depression. I pray for people that are depressed. I pray that the Spirit can fill them up and give them a pull or a yearning to try and eat better. Because it's a promise, it's an absolute promise that if we were to eat properly, if we were to eat for your glory, if we were to eat to live and not live to eat, and eat in moderation, that we would be able to accomplish so much. I pray that people see that. I pray that people receive this word tonight. I pray that they have a yearning to say, hey, let's try this. Let me try to eat properly. Let me give it 10 days. Let me give it 30 days. Let's try it for 6 months. Let's see what eating right can do for my walk with Christ. I pray that they want to do that. I pray that they research. I pray that they see. I pray that their eyes are opened to this, Father. So, again, thank you. Thank you for letting me see it. And I pray that through this ministry, the Right Woman Ministry, that you help me open up people's eyes and hearts to this message here. This message is so near and dear to my heart, that we must eat to live and not live to eat. That we should not make food our idols. That we should eat in moderation and only eat things that give us fuel, like fruits and vegetables. So, Father, I love you. I love you with all my heart and soul. And I fear what happens if I don't do this, if I don't share this message, if I don't try and share with people the truth about food. So, Father, I ask all this. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.